What's up, fellow fantasy-loving friends? Josh here with RSMP Tabletop, and I'm beyond excited because today I finally have some X-Men. When I went down to the Battle Standard to film the walkthrough video, I knew I just had to leave with some Uncanny X-Men as well as the Brotherhood. So Uncanny's built and painted as well as Rogue and Gambit. I'll get around to painting the Brotherhood when I can, but they're built and they're primed right now. But this is the force that I think I'm probably going to focus on and I want to play. I've been playing the Avengers just because they were kind of who was in the starter box when I started, but after playing a few games of MCP, I really started to understand, like, this game really pulls you in. It's immersive, and I loved the X-Men growing up. So what was kind of cool, what I did was when I actually built these guys, I put on the original X-Men cartoon, not the 97 reboot, but like the original X-Men cartoon. And I thought it was really funny because in the first two episodes, they basically fight the Sentinels. And my first game ever, Ryan had taught me how to play and he used the Sentinels. Now I wasn't using the X-Men, I was using the Avengers, but now I've got the X-Men, and thematically I can't wait to play him again using the X-Men, so I'm very excited about that. I posted in the Atomic Mass Games Facebook page kind of what we were trying to do, and I asked for a little bit of feedback, what you guys would like to see, and I was kind of surprised because I thought a lot of people were just going to say, we want to see more battle reports and full games with overlays and stuff like that, but we got a lot of comments that people really wanted to see cinematic battles, fights that made sense between factions that lived in the same universe and stuff like that. So I'm going to take that to heart. I listened to a lot of what you guys had to say. I have a special treat because this is Wednesday's video, but coming out on Friday, I'm gonna drop another video. I had Jin, Eric, and MJ come down. They're three unbelievably talented Marvel Crisis Protocol players. They're gonna be talking about two new characters that are, I don't know if they're getting ready to come out or if they just came out, but it's not just about those characters. They give so much insight to the game and they talk about interactions. So stay tuned for that. It's just another video I'll be dropping on Friday.
And then we have a crit wild trigger bringing you in. After this attack is resolved, the character may push the target character towards his character S.
That's really neat.
Unsized.
Oh, wow. So
Unsized.
So she can just pull in. I don't know how that works thematically.
I also want to give a huge shout out to the Battle Standard for sponsoring this video. Any chance those guys get to help out any players, any content creators, anybody in the community trying to help out, they're on it. So if you guys haven't yet, you need to go down to the Battle Standard and check out their new store because it's absolutely phenomenal. I have a video that we did with a walkthrough, so if you haven't watched that video yet, you should go check it out because the store is definitely worth seeing. But back to me watching cartoons and playing with toys as a full-grown adult. So it's July 4th. I got up in the morning and I was gonna do the build. So I threw the cartoons on and I just had a fun time putting them together because, you know, as I'm putting the characters together, I'm watching the cartoon. And the cartoon, I can't believe how much I remembered from it once I started watching it. It was like I was a kid again sitting in my bedroom, you know, watching Saturday morning cartoons. And I just love it anytime I can get that escape and feel like that. So it was awesome. I was kind of on the fence about how I wanted to do the color scheme, and even you have some head options when you're building some of these guys, but when I started watching the cartoon, I saw Wolverine with his full mask and headpiece on first, so I kind of made the decision for me. But it was just really cool to have like the cartoon, me watching it there in real time, like influence my build and stuff like that. I keep talking about paints, and again, I'm not a good painter, so I want to be leery about like giving any input or any advice or anything like that, but again, when I use the Army Painter speed paint, I feel like in the Warhammer world, you get that grim, dark look and it kind of works and it fits. But for Marvel Crisis Protocol, I didn't really want that. I wanted the colors to pop and be a little bit more vibrant. When I painted the Avengers, I wanted to go with the color scheme that was a little bit more, I don't want to say flat or muted, but like not super bright versions of blue or red or those colors, because I wanted to stay closer to like the comic books that I grew up with as a kid in like the 80s and early 90s. So I chose that color palette. The X-Men, however, they were a little bit more bold and vibrant in my opinion. The yellows popped a little bit more, the blues were a little bit just in your face. And I've been using the Vallejo paint, and I ended up getting some more Vallejo, and so I basically bought this kit just for two colors, Magic Blue and Moon Yellow, because blue and yellow are honestly one of the most important color schemes in the X-Men, green as well, but I didn't really have a yellow or a blue that popped or was as vibrant as these, so I figured why not get the kit. I'd get some extra colors in there that I could play around with, mix and have fun, so I'm very excited about that. I think the colors came out great. Again, I'm not a good painter at all, but I mean, when I set these down on the table, like I'm not gonna feel bad about playing these guys. It's not gonna break the immersion at all. And I love the colors. The blue and the yellow just really pop, and I've used a couple yellows now and I haven't found one that I really liked yet except for the Moon Yellow. It's pretty much been the only yellow that I've actually enjoyed using. The painting went fun. Again, using the Vallejo, I used Eric's advice and I just try to water my paint down more so I can apply it nice and smooth and it goes on. It's not streaky, it's not chunky, it's not a little too runny. There's nothing worse than taking the time to do fine lines and really put in some detail on something and then slopping a little bit of paint that's too wet and just have it run onto what you just did. Sure, you can try to wipe it off with a paper towel, but it just never quite works out as good as you hope it does. Now, as always with my paint jobs, I'm not gonna say that these guys are done. You know, I missed the base on Rogue because it stuck to the thing when I pulled it off. I had to re-glue it, but my goal for this stuff is I just wanted to get like the first coats of all my paint on everything, and then once all the major painting's done, as I get more time, I'll go through and I'll really work on some of the more detail work. I wanna try some shading, I wanna try some edge highlighting. I did pick up some Tamiya panel liner, which I'm really excited to try. A little nervous about, but excited to try, so I'll be able to definitely add some more flair to what I'm doing in the future, but for right now, just literally putting on basic colors has really been working for me. The Newlin oil, I'm really dialing back on. There's a few situations where I really do like it, but the problem is, like, no matter what color you put it on, it adds a little bit of shine to it and it just changes the overall look of your paint. So there's certain things like fabrics and stuff like that where you don't want them to be like shiny in the way that it makes it. So again, it's got its applications, just like speed paint and contrast paint, but I've really been enjoying just priming. I prime these guys regular white because, to be perfectly honest, I was running super low on primer and I just wanted to get this build going and I didn't have time to get out to a store. I had some red primer, which I didn't want to put down because I painted some of the terrain for Marvel Crisis Protocol and I used the red primer, but trying to do like the yellow for the taxis and stuff like that ended up being miserable. I had to do so many coats and it just really ended up not quite being worth it. So I didn't really have a lot of black either. I didn't want to risk getting some black on some of the models, but not on the others. So I kind of threw the Zenithal Prime out the window on this, but I'm not upset about that because, again, for these particular models, like this isn't Warhammer for me. This is something completely different and I wanted a different feel. I wanted the X-Men to feel slightly different than the Avengers. And I feel like by just doing a regular white prime across the whole model, number one, I had just enough primer to do it, so it worked out perfect. But I feel like the colors pop. Like, okay, maybe I'm losing a little bit of shading and roll off somewhere, but again, I don't notice it. It's not taking me out of the fun or the experience out of this at all. So I couldn't be more excited to have the X-Men. I couldn't be more excited to have MJ, Jen, and Eric join the channel. I'm hoping to feature and highlight these guys a lot because, again, they're gonna bring that huge knowledge base of wealth to us in the community. I'm gonna continue to post in the Facebook group. So guys, honestly, leave some comments. I'm starting at the base right now. Every single video we do, like I keep mentioning, I wanna get better, I wanna do better overlays, I wanna do more, but I really wanna hit the topics and the stuff that you guys wanna hear and think about. So I feel like talking about the characters individually, like the video that's gonna come out on Friday, is really huge because at any time, if you're thinking about adding that character to your list, I mean, you can go back and watch those videos and you're gonna get a ton out of it. Or if you think you're gonna go up against that character, or if you get blown out of the water by that character and you wanna learn a little bit more, those videos are gonna hold up. So we're gonna try to focus on some character stuff. And again, we'll do battle reports. We'll talk about factions. After tournaments and stuff like that, I'll try to get the players back down. We'll talk about who they faced, who was a problem for them, what they noticed at the tournaments, and basically a lot of the insight like that. So, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you haven't, please like, subscribe, comment, and share because we have a lot of awesome stuff coming out and it's really gonna help us out a lot. But until next time, stay safe.